Royal couple reportedly hanging out with Hollywood royalty, spending a weekend with, none other than George and Amal Clooney at their house in Lake Como.
Top secret getaway for the newlyweds. The jet-setting royals relaxing with Hollywood royalty at the Clooney's picturesque Italian villa.
What if the biggest story isn't what we're seeing in public? For months, the messaging is centered on resilience, rebuilding, and commitment. But what if at the very same time a completely different strategy has been unfolding? One involving legal consultations, corporate restructures, international property moves, and carefully defined financial boundaries. And here's the real question. Are we watching a marriage being repaired or a separation being methodically prepared? Because when you line up the reported legal meetings in Los Angeles, the restructuring of American Riviera Orchard into a sole proprietorship, the individual podcast deal, the trademark filings, the Portugal property purchase, and the timing of it all, it starts to look less random and more coordinated. None of this confirms a divorce. None of it proves intent. But taken together, it raises an important question about strategy, independence, and long-term positioning. So as we go through this next part, keep one thing in mind. If a formal announcement comes in the coming weeks or months, will it feel sudden? Or will it feel like the natural outcome of steps that were quietly put in place long ago? Let's break it down. I need you to pay close attention, because this next part helps explain a lot about Meghan's recent public actions. Over the past several months, while speaking openly about working on her marriage and sharing encouraging posts about resilience, new information suggests there may be another side to the story. According to multiple reports, Meghan has been quietly seeking legal advice in Los Angeles since mid-2024. Sources familiar with the matter say she has spoken with 3 well-known family law attorneys, professionals recognized for handling some of California's most high-profile cases. Laura Wasser, for instance, has represented clients such as Angelina Jolie and Kim Kardashian. Samantha Spector is known for her work on complex financial settlements, and Stacey Phillips has managed several celebrity legal proceedings. If accurate, these meetings raise questions about intent. Consulting several attorneys doesn't necessarily confirm an upcoming divorce. Many people seek legal clarity during uncertain times, but it does suggest a desire to understand all available options. Reportedly, Meghan's inquiries included topics such as California's community property rules, asset division, and related legal protections. With decades of experience following public separations, longtime observers of celebrity life note that this kind of preparation often follows a recognizable pattern: careful planning, discreet consultations, and controlled public messaging. None of this implies wrongdoing. It simply reflects a methodical, strategic approach often seen when public figures face major personal decisions under intense scrutiny. In short, while Meghan continues to appear publicly committed to working on her marriage, these reported behind-the-scenes actions portray someone ensuring she's informed about her choices. Whether that means protecting her interests or preparing for possible outcomes remains unclear, but it highlights the complexity of managing private realities in a very public life. In September 2024, corporate filings revealed a notable change to Meghan's lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. The company, which had originally been set up with Prince Harry listed as a co-founder, was restructured into a sole proprietorship under Meghan's name. According to those filings, Harry's name was removed from ownership, leaving Meghan as the brand's sole proprietor. From a business standpoint, this type of adjustment isn't unusual, especially if one partner isn't actively involved in daily operations. However, legal analysts note that it can have important implications under California law. Income from a sole proprietorship is typically considered separate property rather than community property, meaning future earnings, sales, or profits from American Riviera Orchard would belong solely to Meghan. A similar pattern reportedly appeared in her 2024 podcast deal with Lemonade Media. Public records and media coverage suggest that the agreement was signed under Meghan Markle as an individual, rather than through Archwell Productions or any shared business entity. If accurate, that structure would also classify any income from the podcast as her individual property. Trademark activity provides another point of interest. Between July and October 2024, filings show that Meghan submitted approximately 18 trademark applications, all under her own name. None of these were connected to joint ventures or shared corporate entities. Industry observers interpret this as an effort to streamline her brand identity and establish clearer ownership boundaries. Some reports have also discussed the couple's financial challenges, referencing ongoing legal expenses and property costs. It's been suggested that certain debts, such as those linked to Harry's legal cases, may be in his name. While these details are based on publicly available information and media coverage, they illustrate how both Meghan and Harry may be organizing their financial and professional affairs independently. Overall, these developments paint a picture of two individuals navigating complex personal and business landscapes, with each taking steps to define their own future direction. Public records indicate that Prince Harry's name appears first on the Montecito property deed, identifying him as the primary party responsible for its financial obligations. Similarly, in past reports regarding an American Express lawsuit, the credit accounts in question were said to have been issued under Harry's name with Meghan listed as an authorized user. From a legal perspective, this would make him the main account holder responsible for repayment. Some analysts observing these developments suggest that Meghan appears to be structuring her finances so that business assets and potential income sources fall under her name, while certain shared debts remain connected to Harry. Under California law, debt responsibility can often depend on whose name appears on specific accounts or agreements. If accurate, this could lead to a financial division in which liabilities and income streams are clearly separated between them. One of the most discussed developments involves a reported property purchase in Portugal in October 2024, valued at approximately 4.5 million euros. Media coverage initially described it as a joint family investment. However, according to publicly available documents from Portugal's corporate registry, the property is owned through a company called MEU's Holdings. Records list the beneficial owner as M. Markle, California resident, rather than under both Harry and Meghan's names. While it's possible that Harry may have contributed financially, the ownership structure suggests that the property is held under Meghan's name via her company. Legal experts note that such arrangements can complicate asset classification in the event of a separation, as ownership and contribution are evaluated differently under international law. The choice of Portugal also appears to have a practical dimension. The country offers a non-habitual resident tax regime which provides certain advantages for foreign property owners and investors. This may indicate a broader financial strategy, one focused less on secrecy and more on establishing favorable conditions for future business or residency decisions. In sum, these details collectively highlight how both Meghan and Harry may be taking steps to manage their assets, liabilities, and global interests through distinct legal and financial structures. Portugal's tax framework offers significant advantages for individuals who establish residency there. Under the country's non-habitual resident program, qualifying residents can receive favorable tax treatment on certain types of foreign income for up to 10 years. For someone whose earnings are expected to come primarily from US-based ventures, such as media projects, publishing, or brand partnerships, this arrangement can be financially beneficial. Beyond tax considerations, Portugal's membership in the European Union also carries logistical advantages. Residency in one EU country grants the right to live and work throughout the EU, opening doors for international business opportunities. Some analysts interpret Meghan's reported interest in Portugal as a practical and strategic lifestyle decision, one that aligns with both her professional ambitions and her pre-capture desire for geographic flexibility. While speculation has circulated about her motivations, there's no indication that any of these steps involve wrongdoing. Instead, observers describe them as part of a careful, forward-looking plan, positioning her to manage her career and financial independence from a base in Europe, while remaining connected to global media markets. What has drawn attention is the timing. Between August and November 2024, multiple developments reportedly took place. The restructuring of her business entities, new trademark filings, property acquisitions, and consultations with legal professionals. These changes unfolded over a relatively short period, suggesting a concentrated phase of financial and logistical planning. According to various reports, August 2024 was also when financial advisors allegedly briefed Meghan on the couple's overall fiscal situation. Some sources claim she was informed of mounting debts and potential risks to shared assets, including their California residence. If those reports are accurate, it may explain why she began taking measures to secure her own financial stability. All of these actions viewed together appear to reflect a coordinated effort to reorganize her assets and future income streams in a way that ensures long-term independence and flexibility. Steps often taken by high-profile individuals facing complex financial realities. According to reports from sources said to be familiar with the matter, a private meeting took place in October 2024 involving Meghan and her legal representatives. One individual allegedly present later provided a statement to Harry's legal team describing remarks attributed to Meghan during that discussion. The source claims she said, "I didn't leave the royal family to end up broke in California. I'll do whatever it takes to protect what I've built. Harry made his choices. Those are his consequences to deal with." If this statement was made as reported, it reflects a firm stance on financial independence and personal responsibility. Observers have pointed out that such language may indicate a shift toward managing her affairs separately, both personally and professionally. Still, these claims remain unverified, and neither party has publicly commented on the alleged exchange. At the time of that reported meeting, it was October 2024. Now, several months later, public speculation continues about the couple's relationship status and the possibility of formal separation. While some outlets have suggested that a filing could be forthcoming, no official documentation has confirmed this. Legal experts familiar with California family law have discussed, in general terms, what a potential strategy could look like for a high-profile couple in similar circumstances. Typically, proceedings might begin with a standard irreconcilable differences filing, a common and neutral legal basis used in no-fault divorces. Following that, one party could seek to clarify the ownership of assets created after separation, such as business ventures or intellectual property. In parallel, they might also aim to assign individual responsibility for legal debts or financial obligations tied to one person's professional activities. It's important to note that these are broad, hypothetical outlines often cited by attorneys when analyzing public cases. Whether Meghan and Harry take any such steps remains entirely unconfirmed. What is clear, however, is that both have been portrayed as navigating a complex mix of personal, financial, and legal considerations as they define their respective futures. Legal analysts who have reviewed the publicly reported details suggest that in a potential separation scenario, the next phase would likely involve clarifying ownership of individual and shared assets. For instance, the Portugal property, reportedly registered under Meghan's name through her company, could be presented as her separate asset depending on how it was financed and documented. Under California law, property purchased with separate funds before a formal separation may be treated as belonging solely to the individual who paid for it. Another possible step, based on general legal practice, could involve a request for spousal support. In California, such support, often referred to as alimony, is determined primarily by the marital standard of living and each party's earning capacity during the marriage. This means that even if one spouse has since developed independent income streams, they may still be eligible to request support if the other partner historically earned more or maintained higher access to resources. During their marriage, the couple was known to live in an affluent setting, with reports referencing their residence in Montecito and the lifestyle that accompanied it. If these factors were presented in court, Meghan's legal team could theoretically argue that she is entitled to support in order to maintain a similar standard of living, regardless of current financial challenges or changes to Harry's income. While this outline reflects a standard approach under California family law, it remains speculative and unconfirmed in this specific case. Both Meghan and Harry have made no public statements about any potential filing or the terms of their financial arrangements. Some reports have indicated that Harry's legal advisors may have expressed concern about the restructuring of certain assets and business ventures, interpreting those actions as preparation for possible separation. However, these accounts are based on unnamed sources and have not been verified. Overall, the situation as publicly discussed underscores how complex and strategically planned high-profile separations can become, particularly when international assets, evolving business interests, and differing legal jurisdictions are involved. Reports and commentary surrounding Harry and Meghan continue to vary widely, reflecting differing perspectives on the state of their relationship. Some accounts suggest that Harry remains hopeful about reconciliation, believing that with time and resolution of ongoing financial challenges, the marriage could stabilize. Others, however, indicate that Meghan has already shifted her focus toward personal independence, both emotionally and financially, and is carefully considering the timing of any formal decisions. One factor reportedly influencing speculation about timing involves legal proceedings connected to the wider royal family. Some outlets have claimed that a pending court ruling could affect broader family dynamics. Commentators suggest that, should that decision prompt renewed public scrutiny, Meghan might use the moment to formally redefine her personal and public position. If such a filing were to occur, analysts predict that her public narrative might emphasize themes of personal resilience and self-protection amid complex family pressures. Supporters could interpret her actions as those of someone seeking stability and autonomy, while critics might frame them differently. This duality illustrates how public opinion often divides sharply in high-profile separations. Behind these narratives, legal and financial preparations have been noted as ongoing. As covered in earlier reports, Meghan has restructured her business interests, consulted legal professionals, and created clearly delineated income channels. Observers interpret these actions as signs of meticulous planning, steps that would provide a stable foundation regardless of marital outcomes. As for Harry, commentary from legal and media analysts has centered on his personal and financial outlook. Reports indicate he may face continued legal costs and reduced financial flexibility. Questions have also been raised about his immigration status in the United States, given previous public disclosures about his residency and past statements. Immigration experts have noted that high-profile individuals can face complex legal hurdles if financial or legal obligations escalate, though no official proceedings have been reported. Ultimately, while the public discourse around the couple is intense, much of it remains speculative. Both Harry and Meghan have maintained relative silence on these matters. Until formal filings or public statements are made, observers can only assess the situation based on existing records and media coverage, leaving many details open to interpretation. Media coverage has increasingly focused on speculation surrounding Prince Harry's financial situation and his ability to manage ongoing legal or personal negotiations. Reports suggest that if significant financial strain exists, his options for challenging certain asset claims or pursuing extended legal proceedings could be limited. In that scenario, settlements might become the most practical outcome. Commentators have also noted that returning to Britain could present its own challenges. Public perception remains shaped by past revelations from Harry's memoir and interviews, which openly discussed family tensions. Analysts observing the royal family's dynamic point out that reconciliation would require significant personal repair on both sides, given the depth of prior disagreements. Much of the discussion surrounding the couple continues to center on differing interpretations of motive and intent. Some critics argue that Meghan's professional rise and business expansion were strategically timed to coincide with her growing public profile. Others view her actions simply as the logical steps of a driven entrepreneur seeking independence and long-term stability. Either way, it reflects the reality that their personal and professional identities have increasingly diverged. Historically, multiple sources, ranging from royal commentators to individuals once close to both parties, have said that Harry was cautioned about the pressures of merging personal life with global attention. Whether or not these warnings carried merit, it's clear the scrutiny surrounding the couple has been extraordinary, often amplified by competing media narratives. One detail that drew renewed interest occurred in November 2024, when Meghan attended a public event in Los Angeles. Observers noted she was not wearing her engagement or wedding rings, prompting widespread speculation. When questioned by reporters, her spokesperson explained the jewelry was being cleaned. Though a seemingly minor moment, the absence of the rings has been interpreted in various ways, by some as symbolic of change, and by others as entirely ordinary. Ultimately, the interpretation depends on perspective. To some, these developments suggest distance and redefinition. To others, they are simply the actions of a woman managing her public image in the midst of ongoing speculation. Until either Meghan or Harry addresses these matters directly, conclusions about the state of their relationship remain based solely on observation and commentary, rather than confirmed fact. By early 2025, the public narrative surrounding Meghan and Harry had become one of quiet tension. Both appeared separately at public events, Meghan attending several industry gatherings in Los Angeles, and Harry focusing on mental health initiatives and veteran support work. While they avoided direct public comment about their relationship, subtle details continued to capture public attention. Observers noticed that Meghan's appearances increasingly emphasized her brand identity rather than her royal connection. Her social media activity shifted toward promoting American Riviera Orchard, featuring polished lifestyle imagery and carefully curated messaging. Meanwhile, Harry maintained a lower profile, often photographed without Meghan at engagements that once might have been joint appearances. Legal analysts following the situation remarked that this type of public separation often precedes formal filings. The process of establishing distinct financial, professional, and geographic identities, they noted, can make eventual legal proceedings smoother. At the same time, both remained under heavy scrutiny from the international press, which closely examined every move for signs of an official announcement. Reports continued to circulate about Meghan's growing business portfolio, including new trademark filings in both the U.S. Invested Profit Office and Europe. Commentators pointed out that her entrepreneurial expansion, combined with her reported interest in Portuguese residency, appeared consistent with a long-term plan to build a self-sustaining international brand. Harry, on the other hand, seemed focused on rebuilding his personal foundation. Sources close to his professional network described him as determined to create independent projects outside the royal framework. However, questions persisted about his long-term residence and financial stability. With speculation growing, both appeared to be redefining their public roles, signaling a quiet but deliberate move toward separate lives. Behind the scenes, conversations reportedly intensified among legal teams and financial advisors. According to multiple industry sources, discussions centered on how to divide intellectual property, ongoing contracts, and international assets without escalating the situation publicly. Both parties, it seems, wanted to avoid a public courtroom battle that could reignite the media storm of years past. For Meghan, the strategy appeared straightforward: maintain control of her business ventures while securing stability through diversified income streams. Her representatives continued negotiating brand partnerships and international licensing deals, solidifying her transition from duchess to independent businesswoman. Commentators described this as a clear evolution, a move from shared royal projects to self-directed entrepreneurship. Harry's focus, by contrast, seemed more personal. Reports suggested he had begun working quietly with advisors to protect what remained of his finances and legal standing in the United States. Analysts noted that, for a public figure with complex international ties, balancing private obligations and immigration requirements could be particularly delicate. Throughout early 2025, the media's tone shifted. What began as speculation about relationship troubles evolved into a broader conversation about identity, independence, and adaptation. Some journalists framed the situation as a story of reinvention, two individuals who entered global fame as a couple now forging separate paths under immense public pressure. Neither side made any formal declarations, but the absence of joint appearances and coordinated messaging spoke volumes. The story of Meghan and Harry appeared to be transitioning from shared ambition to individual purpose, each determined to redefine success on their own terms, even as the world continued to watch every quiet move unfold. At this stage, it appears Meghan may simply be waiting for the right moment to make things official. Based on public reports and ongoing speculation, many observers believe a formal filing could come soon, possibly within the next several weeks. The question now is, if that happens, will it truly be unexpected? Or will it seem like the natural outcome of the steps we've already seen? Business restructures, separate ventures, and increasing independence? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you view these developments as careful preparation, or as part of a broader narrative shaped by the media? And don't forget to subscribe for the next update, where we'll look at what legal experts say Harry's possible next steps could be, including how returning to the UK or cooperating more closely with his family might shape his future strategy.